Yesterday, we discussed a Supreme Court case in India where they just re-outlawed gayness. Seriously, they said just being gay can land you in jail. Well, Bryan Fischer heard about this, and I know some of you think, well, at least our conservatives aren't as insane as conservatives in some other countries, some, third world, second world, whatever it is, countries. Well, you would be mistaken. Bryan Fischer, take it away.
And their Supreme Court upheld a law yesterday that criminalizes homosexual behavior. There's a law that was passed by the Parliament back in the 1860s that indicates that carnal intercourse against the order of nature with any man, woman, or animal is prohibited. Carnal intercourse against the order of nature. And this is entirely right and entirely appropriate. Same-sex behavior is unnatural. It is against the order of nature. You just look at the plumbing, and you can tell that what body parts are designed for what use, and you can see right away this is contrary to nature. So this law was in effect from 1860. It was overturned by a lower court in India in 2009, and so it's been suspended for the last 4 years. But the Supreme Court of India upheld that law, reinstated that prohibition on homosexual behavior. So that shows, ladies and gentlemen, that it can be done. It shows that this cultural trend that we're dealing with can be reversed, because for 4 years it was open season for homosexuals in India, and now that drift away from cultural norms and moral norms, that's been reversed in the country of India. Good law in India upheld by the Supreme Court.
This guy's an absolute lunatic. I can't believe he's in favor of that. It bans gayness. So if you're walking down the street and you look slightly effeminate, you might have to serve a life sentence. I mean, this guy, but he's admitting too, he said it. He goes, the law was originally put into place in the 1860s when Britain was occupying India and ruling India. And he's like, yeah, let's go back to the laws that we had in 1860. I'm envious of 1860. What else would you like to resurrect from then, Bryan? You want to scrap penicillin and vaccines and move towards using snake oil, sprinkling some goat blood on somebody when they're sick, and then praying to Yahweh that they get better? I mean, the guy, he's a primitive, I'm sorry, but I have to say this because it's right in front of us. Bryan Fischer is a primitive human being. Like, he doesn't think. His brain doesn't function like our brains function. And don't get me wrong, I would never advocate, because I'm not like him, I would never advocate for violence or hurting or whatever. We're not about that. We're progressives. We stand on principle against things like that. But the dude, he's primitive. He's a ridiculous thinker. And the only thing that makes me happy is to think that as time goes by here, that whole mindset is going off into oblivion. Pat Robertson, Bryan Fischer, this is their last throws. People will look at the things that Bryan Fischer says, 10 years, 20 years from now, maybe even today, people will look at it like people looked at people who advocate segregation. People forget that George Wallace ran on the segregationist ticket for president in the U.S. In the 1960s, there was vocal advocates. Yes, I'm in favor of keeping black second-class citizens. Well, today we laugh at those people. We say, you have to be the dumbest motherfucker ever. Same thing's going to happen with Bryan Fischer. He said, well, obviously this is a good law because it's unnatural. It's unnatural to have a man and a man together. Hello, just look at the plumbing. Yeah, Bryan, except there's only one problem. Natural is defined as seen in nature. Gayness occurs in nature. How can something be unnatural if it occurs in nature? Not very big on definitions, are you, big guy? Actually, I shouldn't call him big guy. He might get excited at that.